Hello, good afternoon. My name is Małgorzata Kurzępa. I'm a founder and director of Fairhouse Investments, the company which invests in properties in UK for over 8 years and over 10 years altogether. Every Sunday afternoon, I'm coming to you with another subject somehow connected to investing in properties. And today, I wanted to tell you about 5 most important people in my property business, in my business in general, who helped me develop my business, who helped me understand what is the most important in running a company, and basically who taught me almost everything I know. Fairhouse Investments is the name of my company, and I focus on investing in single lets buy-to-let properties, but also last year I started investing in rent-to-rent service apartment. Surprise, surprise, it doesn't work that bad as it could, and mostly thanks to the great management company, but also because of the help from the government and because of the way, basically how it's run by the management company. And the third thing I started doing last year was my educational company. So I decided to teach people who knows less than me in property investing how to do it, how to find the best strategy, how to buy the first property. And I also run the courses, but my courses are basically for Polish people because they are my main audience. But if you English speakers have any questions for me about investing in properties, just feel free to ask. I also have my YouTube channel, Fairhouse Investments, and all my previous videos you will find there. This one would be like 31st or 32nd video, something like this. So there is a good amount of knowledge about properties there already. Today I wanted to tell you about 5 most important people who influenced my business, and first of them is John Maxwell. Probably each of you already heard about John Maxwell. He's a motivational speaker and mentor, leader. First time when I heard about him, I was still living in Poland, and I just joined a multi-level marketing company. He's the best-selling author, as I said, and the motivational speaker probably in the world, one of the most popular. And this is not only my opinion; he's also the best-selling. The best I'm taking from him is his approach to leadership and responsibilities connected to being a leader. In the multi-level marketing program, I also come across other leaders like Skip Ross, Les Brown, or Jim Rohn. It's just John Maxwell make the biggest impression on me. I like reading his books either, but I just love to listen to him. His coaching, live online meetings, it's whatever is available. I'm just, trying to get everything what is possible from internet. For me, he's the best example of the person who loves what he's doing and who turned in his passion into the business, the prosperity. Who would be better person to admire and follow than someone like him? He's also an amazing speaker, someone I always wanted to be. You can say I do speak, I speak to people, I record the videos, but the funny thing is that I have to prepare all what I'm saying. You probably noticed that sometimes I'm chasing my notes because I have an issue with talking about everything around the subject, but not necessarily the subject itself. This is why I definitely need my notes, and actually most of the time I just write it word after word to be sure that I will tell you everything I want to say or what is important in the subject. So the multi-level marketing introduced me to John Maxwell, but it also taught me how to run the business in practice, how to run it practically, but also how to run the business mentally. How to change your approach to earning money or making money via business, not via going to work and being paid per hour. I've learned a lot of things from both John Maxwell and Multilevel Marketing. That, for example, if you're late for the meeting, it means it's just very disrespectful for the person who's waiting for you. The most of the business are run according to the script, and if you follow the script you are given, more or less, or more rather than less, this then you probably be successful in your business. Now it's called franchising. In that time, the word of franchising was not that popular, at least not in Poland. We didn't know what it is. That you have to believe in your dream. I've learned that you have to believe in your dreams. Draw them, photocopy them, put them on your phone or on the wall, computer screen, and look at them all the time. If you won't stop thinking of them, then they become the truth one day. First, it was the time when I first seen the movie called Secret. If you haven't seen it, you definitely have to. It's mind open thing, mind opening thing. There is nothing you didn't know before in this movie. It's just, I definitely think it's worth to watch, and it's not long, so you wouldn't waste much time if you decide it wasn't that great for you, or you could skip it. Thanks to this business, I also learned that I have to be consequent, persistent, and work hard, sometimes for months or years, to see the first sign of success. And that success is actually a path, not a particular place in the future. And definitely success, it's not something that happens overnight. I've also learned what the delayed gratification is. I have enjoyed regular events run by John Maxwell, especially recently, and John Maxwell and his team. They have given a great example of what the real leadership is, how to lead people in troublesome time. And he's coming, to his old fans and to the new fans. I'm sure plenty of new people started following him recently. And I'm also sure he suffered a lot in these times because, his company, they run open events. So probably they also had to put everything on hold, lost some clients, lost some money, things like this. So I really sympathize with him and his company and his team. And I think it's a great that he's coming to us to support us and just, help us in this difficult time. The second person, or rather two people, were two Robs, Rob Dix and Rob Benz. When I started thinking about my first property purchase in UK, I found the podcast regarding the subject, and I started following it. I don't remember how I came across the idea of listening to the podcast. I was then up north, and I had a small group of people who I met via meetup group. We were attending plenty of meetings, we were going out together, and maybe one of them told me something about listening to the podcast or podcast itself. Anyway, I started listening to the American guy, and of course, what I found out didn't help me much. However, quite fast I realized that the US market and UK market are completely different markets, completely different law, rules, and there is no point to listen to the American, despite of him talking very nicely and interesting about investing in properties. And I gave up on him, and I started following a UK podcast, and the first podcast I found was Property Hub by Rob Dix and Rob Benz. So, as I said, first I fell in love in the idea of listening of the podcast and not wasting my time. I remember in winter I was driving to work, in summer I walked. You can probably laugh, but it was more or less the same amount of time. And I just listen all the time. And eventually, in 2017, I managed to attend a summit organized by Property Hub by two Robs. So I managed to meet them live. They are actually real people, quite normal, who lives like us and who got some same issues as we have regarding investing in properties, or at least they had some time ago. Now they are, of course, much more experienced. Thanks to them, I also met another 7 people. There was a group of us, 8 investors, and it was amazing meetings. As I said, not only because I realized that two ropes are normal people and also have the same problems as other investors have, but they also analyze our businesses, so I got some advices from them what I should do with my business. I also listen other guys talking about their businesses and what two ropes advise them about their companies, about their investing. So I received plenty of useful knowledge from two ropes, which in sense prepared me for my future investors. Also stopped me from making serious mistakes. Not all mistakes, of course, I was still making mistakes, but you probably not, you are not able to avoid all mistakes, doesn't matter how long you're preparing yourself. Their knowledge also gave me a courage to purchase my first property and slept at night, So right before the purchase, I just felt that I'm ready. I felt comfortable with this decision and I just went for it. I was lucky because even that time of my life, I was already surrounded by people who supported me a lot. My partner purchased his first investment property just a couple months later, despite of the fact that he never had any interest in investing. I purchased mine, he purchased his, and I think we both are quite happy with this. Listening to the podcast is free. Almost free. You need a little bit of internet to download it. Later, you can listen it offline, and you don't need internet connection, so you can listen while you're traveling. When the connection is bad, you can listen at the beach or wherever you are. You can go to the place, you can go back to the place where you stop, and you don't have to pay for any subscription or anything. If you want to find a podcast, there is an app on your phone, probably already there, even if you're not even aware of it. So and another thing, then on the top of the knowledge you receive from the person who ran the podcast, they usually also make you aware of many sources of further knowledge. So if you want to learn something more, they also give you tips where to find this knowledge. In my opinion, Property Hub is very good for newbies, but it's also amazing for experienced investors. I have no idea how they manage to come with interesting subjects every year, for the last 8 years. I think they started in 2012. They share their knowledge for free. I understand that they get their income from the investment company, not from Property Hub as education company. So I mean, I don't, as I said, I'm not sure, I'm not aware how you could make money on the podcast itself, but probably what I'm trying to say is that they not focus on selling things while they teaching you. So you don't have to buy anything to attend the meeting, when you listen to the podcast, or even when you listen to the webinar. Rob Dix is also an author of few books, so I read them and I use them actually on a regular basis. So thanks to two Robs, I really realized that investing in property is, not a rocket science, just a business like all others. You just have to treat it seriously, and then you receive a serious return. You need a business plan, of course, goals. You need time frame, but you have to be persistent in scoring your points. Just you do one thing and then you go to another, and then another and another. You have to revise your goals on a regular basis as the situation can change, but not too often. Again, once a year, I think this is the advice. They talk a lot about mistakes they've made and the mistakes they managed to avoid. So as I said, especially when I met them on live, it changed a lot. But anyway, they had a big influence on my investing business. The third person, extremely important, was Alex, a friend of mine, who's also an investor. And actually, I met him at the summit organized by Two Robs. I also met 7 other people, 6 other people, because we were a group of 8. Yeah, so this is how this business works. old friends recommend the new ones, or you hear about someone and you introduce yourself to this person, and this is how you get to know new people, new investors, sometimes other experts. Alex, this friend of mine, he's a second generation he's a second generation investor. His mom used to be an investor before she retired. And even for him, he didn't come to investing properties directly after he finished his education. He needed time to accept and appreciate the idea of passive income. He used to say that 20 or 30 years ago, investing was much easier than now. It was much easier to get a mortgage. The application process was very straightforward. You could receive a mortgage for 100% of the property value. There was much less regulations than nowadays. The landlord's life was a fairy tale, basically, from what he's saying. I don't know if it's really true, but it's just funny thing. So what I mean is, even Alex, who probably remember his mom talking, at the breakfast table about issues with tenants or other things, and despite of him being smart and intelligent and business-oriented person, he still needed sometimes to catch this bug, this property bug. So if you think it's too late for you, or you wasted plenty of time for not doing properties or doing something else, don't worry, there is always a time. There are always people who will start later than you, so don't worry. As I said, the time is now, and just go for it. If you only have this idea, try to develop more education, more experience, and just go for it. So today Alex is an advisor for me and for my colleagues, and we advise each other as much as we could. Each of us has slightly different experience. And even today, in the morning, we had our online Christmas party. So he advised us, we advise each other, we share some experience. Alex trusts in experts. And this is what I learned from him, that sometimes not sometimes, usually it's worth to pay for someone's expertise, because, I'm the person who's trying to do everything by myself, and sometimes it just doesn't work, There are some fields like conveyancing or accountancy or details about mortgages. You just can't be expert in everything. So definitely sometimes it's worth to call an expert, ask for his advice, pay him for his advice, and then you're sure the advice you receive is exactly what you need, and you implement it to your business in the right way. Alex also recommended plenty of experts to me, like brokers, like other investors, coaches. He used to people whose expertise he used before, and now I'm sure if I need them, I could ask for help, because they are right people, they are honest, and they have a knowledge which I need, an expertise. Even 2 months ago, he invited me for business breakfast organized by Sebastian, who used to run PIN meetings in Coventry, I think. And now these meetings are organized online. I was not aware of them, And so Alex paid for me for my ticket. He also invited his sister at the same time. So two more new attendees at the breakfast meeting. And I think he paid for my ticket because he wants me to feel obliged to be at the meeting at 7:30. And I did, but for the next meeting, I bought my own ticket. And this is just amazing experience. Again, new group of experts around me, new people with great experience, something definitely worth to share. So thank you, Alex, very much. I really enjoy the meeting, and it's really nice to meet new people and to grow my my network. The fourth person is Anna, my mentor. I don't know if I mentioned that, because these people arrived to my life in particular time. The fact that I put someone as number one and number two, it doesn't mean that someone was more important than another person. It's just how they appear in my life, who was first, who was second, so on. So Anna came to my life. She's Polish mentor. She's Polish business mentor. She's also a businesswoman, so she runs her own businesses. Some of them remotely, some of them by herself, manually, by doing things on her own, mostly with a group of people. So I came across another Polish woman who is an educational speaker in Poland. And this other lady was coming to Poland, from Poland to UK, to London for an event. I attended this event, and actually on live she didn't make such a big impression on me as online before. But I met Anna, who organized this meeting. So I started looking for some more information about her and her company and what they're doing. And I came across Alut. This is the company which organizes Polish business breakfasts. So these are breakfast meetings, but not connected to the properties inclusively. They are more for people open for business or people who already run their businesses. And I went for the meeting. She asked me to come forward and talk about my business. So she discussed in the front of everybody all the details of my business. So first I was a little bit ashamed, but then I realized this is exactly what needs to be done with my business. Someone has to divide it into small pieces and discuss or assess actually each part of it to eventually put it all together and find the best direction where to go with it. So I joined Anna's mentoring program, and these are like probably most of mentoring programs. Actually, I don't know how they all look like. This is the only one I'm attending. There is one group meeting and there is one meeting per month, one-to-one, when we discuss what happened in the last period of time, what are my new ideas for the future. She was giving me her advices about what I'm thinking, what should be done. She also shared what she thinks I should do. So this is basically how it works. And may I do all these things by my own? I think I could, but thanks to a business-oriented person, I'm doing it just faster. And now I actually feel like in a roller coaster. I've never done so many things in my life, in my business, definitely. You just start one thing, then there's another, and there's another, and then she's calling and asking about the third or fourth one, and you realize you haven't even started, so you have to put your skates on and do it. Because the questions are appearing, you're bombarding with questions and new things to do. She basically taught me the rules how to run the company, but also to believe in myself and don't give up. I graduated from the medical university, and the only subject I've studied, a non-medical one, was a history of philosophy and sport. So 2 things. So you can probably guess that I knew nothing, and I have to learn everything from scratch about the business psychology, sales, marketing, accountancy, building and running the team, everything. And I did it. I've learned everything, I've learned all the basics, and I managed to run my own company. Thanks to my mentor, I realized that no one calls you an expert until you do it by yourself. That the success is not the measure how many times we fail, it's measured by how many times we get back to our feet. The success is the teamwork and the work delegation. And the best company actually is the company that runs itself. That new issues appears all the time and you just have to deal with them, and this is how you make a progress in your business and in your development. Under my mentor's supervision, I do not only run the investment company and slowly preparing myself to swap to passive income completely, but I also started the new company, the educational company. And where in this educational company, I sharing my knowledge and experience with other Polish people who just have less knowledge, less experience. I'm not saying I know everything, However, I have quite a big knowledge, I have to admit. But imagine someone who's completely new and knows nothing about the property. So you definitely could share your experience and your knowledge with such a person. And if you decide that you don't know enough to teach this person anymore, you can just pass him to someone more experienced. So in this education company, I also advise people, but I also prepared 2 courses. One is about different strategies in properties and how to choose the best one for yourself. The second course is about how to find, buy, refurbish, remortgage, and rent the buy-to-let, single-let property. So these are full day courses, and they are available, as I said, in Polish language only. I also wrote my book. So I think it's quite a big achievement as for 1 year of time. And I don't have to, as I mentioned already, I don't have to repeat it probably. It's all thanks to my mentor. I also run the Facebook group, which is English Polish group. So if you have any questions about properties or about myself, I don't hide anything. You know, I'm quite an open person, so you can ask me any question you want at my Facebook group. Not too personal, please, but most questions about properties would be welcome. My plan is to continue my education for another couple of years. Am I addict to my mentor? In a special sense, I'm addict to developing myself as a person, as an investor. I'm addict to getting new knowledge, and I'm aware of the fact that I still have plenty to learn about. I have actually now a business plan for the next 2 years, so I could easily quit teaching program, but I just don't want to do it because I know how much I need something and someone to encourage me for my progress, and also just to share just to share a knowledge with me. As I told you, I don't have any business background, so I'm just learning everything day by day. The fifth person, very important to my business, was Rafael, who runs my social media. I'm just saying he runs my social media, but actually he's really a social media geek. He's a real expert in it. So he's taking care about my activity on social media, about advertising, about setting new events, and all things connected to social media. But he's much more than my colleague, you know. He's the first one who listens all my crazy ideas, and sometimes he's saying, don't even talk about it, don't even tell anyone because this is just so silly, just give up. Or sometimes he's saying, this is amazing, this is crazy but amazing, go for it. You know, he's the one who received my messages, my text messages at 4 a.m. sometimes. I really hope his phone is off. And he doesn't realize and he only see them in the morning. Otherwise I would never do it. So sometimes he has to cut my video when something goes wrong, and then I'm calling him and saying, Rafael, please do something because something silly happened, someone knocked to the door and and I have to leave the video chat to go and open the doors for someone, so please cut it out from my video. So yeah, he's brilliant in managing social media and advertising, and but he's also a good friend and very patient sensor. He brings some common sense to plenty of my activities, believe me. He's also the one who agrees with me. This is one of my controversial ideas, that the best business is the boring one, you know. Nothing is going on there, it just brings you money on regular monthly income. Thanks to Rafael, I've learned that the idea behind the service business is not always put the client's interest first. The idea is to use the experience from the client's company to your company to develop your own business faster. He's one of the few people who who taught me to listen to smarter people than me and also to implement their advices. So Are all these people the engine of my company? John Maxwell, Rob Dix and Rob Benz, or Alex, a friend of mine, my mentor, or my friend running the social media? No, I think I'm the engine. But they used to be, or they still are, the people who showing me direction and set the speed for my development. On the top of it, thanks to them, my business not only growing but also develop a new baby, the educational company. And thanks to them, it's growing much faster, at least in my opinion, that I would grow it on my own. I develop my skills as a person, as a business, and as a businesswoman. So I'm growing as well with my business. In a couple of years, I have found in myself the skills which I've never suspected I have, like patience, like punctuality, like caring for details, like being methodic, like passion for the new things. I have no idea they exist in me. So you can think that they haven't been there before and they just developed because I needed them, like a new organ in evolution program. Maybe this is what happened. But I think each of us could build his success, no matter if you have these skills for building a prosperity business hidden deep in yourself, or you just have to learn them from scratch. I'm true, believe me, I'm a real example of someone who has to learn everything from scratch. John Maxwell once shared a history, like he said that people keep asking him if the leaders are born. Of course, he laughed at it. Of course, leaders are born like you and me. What he's saying is only approximately 30% of the capacity of being a leader is in our genes. The rest, 70%, you just have to learn and you develop it with time. And I think it's very true about almost everything. Is this even this 30% mandatory? I don't think so. I believe you can learn everything you want. Just if you're born with some particular skills, it's easier just to polish them than learn from scratch. But you can learn everything if you motivate it enough and if you really, really need them and you really, really want them. So 5 people who had the best influence on my business: John Maxwell, Rob Dix and Rob Benz, Alex, my mentor Anna, and Rafael, my social media expert. You probably also have some people who influence your business more than others. So think about them. And now I want to wish you just Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I want to remind you that all my videos you will find on my YouTube channel for House Investments. And if you have any questions, just ask them on below this video, because I also put this video on my Facebook group. I decided to stop recording videos in English because most of my clients are Polish, and I decided to develop more materials, more educational materials for Polish community. But it doesn't mean that I stop completely. It would be just less regular coming to you English speakers. So I wish you all the best in the new year. Plenty of successes, plenty of new developments, and all the best. Thank you very much. Małgorzata Kurzępa, Fair House Investments.